Suning's mighty roar seems to have turned into a whimpering mule in game number 1. The lion has become a kitten and was beaten down by V5. That was graphic imagery.
I
but
know. Wow.
I'm
Damn.
Nibira, and apparently I just... It's
that
okay.
was dark, man.
Look, with how badly Suning got beaten, I feel like it's accurate imagery if nothing else.
It's warranted. It's warranted. That's what I'll say about the situation, and a great game for V5. They didn't meet a lot of resistance, and I just want to say I had a disappointing cake, and then I had a bit more disappointing frosting on top of my Suning masterpiece right there. I thought they were going to be coming in, trying to make a strong final stand. They're not completely out of playoffs. They had so much hype around them. I wanted to see a true performance from them, but I didn't get it.
No. No. We did not get much of a performance there from Suning at all. But Victory 5, on the other hand, I think showing admirable early game, and then they just played through Jinoo, and turns out when you have a Kennen that's ahead by 50 CS about a third into the game, you tend to do pretty well, and especially on Jinoo, who's so absolutely insane on the pick.
39% damage. I really love the Kennen pick. I love that the LPL is finally picking it up. It started all the way from the LEC. It's such a broken blue side pick. It doesn't really have a lot of counters into it. You can maybe run the Camille, but that's pretty much it. And it just does so well in team fights. It's very easy to gank for, and I love Jinoo's play on it so far. He already had a sizable lead. He built the Spellbinders, and watch as he comes in. Is slowed by SwordArT, doesn't matter. Has a flash and Protobelt to get him in the midst of the enemy backline, regardless. And that's just the power of Kennen. I feel like Kennen is a great counter pick to a lot of what LPL teams like to do, and that's rush at you for mid-game team fights. And honestly, Kennen it's a perfect answer. You rush at me, makes everything easier to land.
I mean, or in Jinoo's case, you can't rush at me because I'm rushing at you, and I'm going to 1v5 with the Slicing Maelstrom and blow you all up. So Jinoo played really great on that. Top lane did not go well for Suning, and as a result, it seems like they have subbed out XiaoAL, but I don't feel like he was really the biggest problem.
The communication between him and Weiwei definitely was a problem there. However, this does not bode well to me. This sounds like a... well, our season's it, boys. This is it. Might as well get the bench some playtime type of move. Now, in BuBu's defense, which is their current top laner that they're starting right now, he is on a winning team on the LDL East. He's played with an 11-3 record, and he's actually a Cho'Gath player, which is very surprising.
Okay.
Yeah, Cho'Gath recently did get a buff on the Vorpal spikes. Does some extra
it's like
damage
2 more
now.
damage at level 1, but hey, that's a buff.
It is a buff. It is a buff. So I want to see what he brings to the table. Like, he's actually pretty unique in terms of his champion pool. He plays a lot of Jace as well, so maybe an early snowballing type of scenario. And also, you do have SMLZ stepping back on the Rift again. I don't know how to read this situation. This is the first time we're going to be seeing BuBu step on for Suning. And half of me says that, you know, I think this is just a let's get them some playtime situation. The other half of me, I really wish that they show a little bit more.
It's either a death rattle or a rallying cry, and I don't feel like either of us know which it is. Because bringing SMLZ back, sure, Babby didn't do well. I think he got caught out in some position, but he wasn't doing poorly in the same way SMLZ does poorly when he underperforms. He wasn't getting just strictly caught out, strictly 1v1'd by himself. SwordArT didn't have to like babysit him, I feel like. And yes, he did not play that last team fight ideally, but I don't see how SMLZ is going to be a massive improvement.
Well, again, like, Suning, for them, it's just about deciding which style they want to stick with and just going all full throttle for that one avenue. And I think with their current roster, with taking a relatively inexperienced top laner and SMLZ back onto the bot side, I think this time they should just play around SMLZ completely. Say, you know, all right, we tried the last game. Maybe we want to go topside. XiaoAL was going to carry us. Didn't really happen. This time around, SMLZ, you name it. You're going to get whatever you want, but you're also going to have to be accountable for the results. I think that's what's going to happen in this Suning game.
So I'm going to expect SwordArT on top Kench.
I would expect that too.
I don't like to see it, But I expect it because generally SMLZ not the safest position that we have here in the LPL. So if they do play around him, I don't know what I want to see Angel doing. I don't know what I want to see Weiwei doing, because I think the problem last game, Weiwei didn't get a whole lot done in the early game. But when you're on a pick like Lee Sin, that's sort of what Lee Sin does. So it's bizarre in the fact that you have a pick. It's like early game ganks. Cool. Team fight and picks at level 6. Cool. And then you see neither of those. So I think I want to see changes in the jungle as well. Not necessarily the jungler, but the playstyle we're going to see.
You just set the bot lane up for success. Just constantly throw ganks into that. I don't think Cho'Gath needs to be ganked anyway, so
maybe we'll just see the SOFM Jarvin strat.
It could be.
Where he
could
just
be.
sat bot for,
this
I think,
is the
5
blank
minutes.
check that the organization has given over to SMLZ. He's telling, you know what? Maybe you're right. Banana Fish didn't work. Here's your blank check. Put your price on it. Draw whatever you want on it. And on that blank check, I believe a Tahm Kench was drawn. He's telling SwordArT, you will not leave the lane. I will get to play a Kaisa, and I will try my best to hard carry you past V5. And maybe that will happen, but either way, you can tell that there's Suning's kind of this caught between a crossroad of directions and different voices and opinions on the team. I hope that they can pull it together and at least end on a high note.
This is Suning's last stand.
Yep.
If they lose this game, they're out of playoffs entirely. They no longer have that option to contend, and honestly, they're left with what was an incredibly disappointing split for what we thought was going to be the super team. So this is their last chance, and it does make sense putting a lot of that onto SMLZ because he has shown that he can be that incredibly strong carry player before. But that's a lot of weight on his shoulders. It's a lot of weight on the shoulders of the man who's been chased down in lane, solo killed whenever his support left. So he really needs to step up today.
And for now, we have BuBu. This is going to be his debut in the LPL.
His debut? I don't think Clement liked that one.
I don't know. I just like I'm not in a great mood right now. You know, can you understand that?
Yeah, you've seen your boys have a little disappointing.
died for this. Flash Wolf died for this. God damn it.
It's a lot sadder when you put it that way. When it's just Maple and SwordArT, it's like, okay, well, they're having a rough season. But no, when you put it in the context of Flash Wolves are no longer there so that this team could come to light, and you see this team performing, I think, worse than Flash Wolves has before. That's rough.
I'm sorry. This is very tied into my own personal history. You know, I've watched these boys carry the mantle for an entire region, come all the way here, and finally say, you know what? We need to chase better things. We're still young. We're going after that big bucks. We're going after that big success in the LPL. You come over here, and you have a disaster of a split. Worst team in the LPL after Chinese New Year. And well, at least SwordArT still has some good spirits.
Bless him.
Yeah, bless
every
him,
time
bless
we
him.
see him. Every time we see him, he's smiling. You did your interview
I'm
with
sorry,
him.
I'm sorry.
We were there for how long for that interview? Like 2-3 hours?
I actually met, because Suning's office is right next to ours, so I actually met them afterwards, and I was like, you know what the problem was? You need to get me to do more interviews at your base. Because when I was doing interviews with you guys, you were 4-0. After that, you couldn't win anything. You need me. I'm your lucky star.
Clement is the key to Suning's success.
You know what the manager gave me after I did the interview? He's like, hey Clement, you want some food? It's like, yeah, sure. We have a bunch of bentos over here, but only take the ones that weren't finished. I'm like, seriously, dude? Can I have like my own full bento? He's like, no, just take the half finished ones. I think that was the curse. I'm not sure, but I think it might be it.
They didn't give him. They didn't give a generous enough tribute to interviewer Clement.
No. But I'll be honest. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of like what Suning is going through, and we actually talked about this in the preseason as well. And it was about deciding their play style. A lot of times, super teams fall apart because you don't know which one you're supposed to fully invest in. And instead of making a system with interlocking pieces and well-oiled machine, what they had was people running their elbows into each other. SwordArT was like, you know what, I'm going to roam with my jungler, I'm going to play this Flash Wolf style, I'm going to leave lane and make plays happen. And SMLZ is like, okay, I'll die. It's like, what?
Guess I'll die.
Yeah. And for the top side as well, you know, XiaoAL, a great player in his own right, but he's been used to that 4-1 type of split pushing style. Like the same Suning that used to play, they played with a Korean duo bot lane of Jhin and Fury, and the way that they would play was they would play basically laning focused lane. All the resources would go to them, and XiaoAL would scale on the top side. He would be left alone. He would pick something like the Jax that could suddenly roar back into relevance into the 30 and 40 minute mark. And in this meta where it's super fast with turret plating, we really haven't seen XiaoAL find his groove either. So you just have a bunch of pieces that don't really fit together. They look great on paper, but they didn't work out. Now for V5's Edge, I think a very similar story actually. So with V5, I expected them to be very explosive, have a great early game. All of their laners are above average on paper. But what really happened was that they had a good laning phases, and they couldn't transfer it into the later parts of the game. Their team fight, I feel, is one of the weakest in the LPL. I think a lot of issues with them is with spacing and with trying to protect their bot lane at the same time. So what we've seen in so many of their team fights, especially against the likes of Sino Dragons, is that they might win the initial salvos of the fight, and then Gala just comes out of nowhere and cleans up the entire thing, while Weiwei is just lying somewhere in a corner dead. And it's been a story of really how important it is to have a functioning system in the LPL. I mean, we've said this multiple times, but in the LPL, you cannot be a jack of all trades. You cannot be 60% on multiple categories, but have no 100%. You have to have a trump card in your pocket, and this is what both of these teams have been lacking.
Well, I feel like for Victory 5 at the very least, they did have that trump card in Jinoo at the very start of the season. You know, I think their strongest series for me was this one we saw where Jinoo first pulled out his ribbon, and there was the Camille Galio coming in from the jungle and the mid lane. Because like what you're talking about, if they leave Weiwei out to die, he'll do exactly that. He'll die. Great. That makes sense. You know, it makes sense. But when you have an explosive combo like the Camille Galio plus a Riven on top of it, there was no way for anyone to get to Weiwei because they were dead within a second. And they had the Alistar on the back of that. So they literally overwhelmed the enemy with CC and damage to the point where it doesn't matter that you left your AD carry for dead. Everyone else is dead first.
Yeah, and that's actually why I love Kennen as a pick for them. I think it makes a lot of sense. V5 once again going on the blue side, and they're saying, you know what? We're not afraid of Bew counter-picking our top laner. We still have that Kennen pick. What are you going to do about it?
That's the Jace ban coming out as well. And honestly, Clement, I know this is not part of the big ban, but that is a snazzy new overlay.
This is, I would not call this a snazzy new overlay. This is actually the backup overlay when the main one goes wrong.
I actually like it. Is that bad? Is it bad that I like this one?
Just don't tell that to our graphic designers.
Sometimes variety's fun, though. And, oh, man. Rek'Sai got through first pick again.
Yeah, really strong blue side first pick. I love what they're doing right here. And for Suning, this is when we really see their game plan. Are they going to go for the, you know, the hyper carry bot lane that SMLZ has been doing actually okay in lane on? Oh, Bebu's going to go for something spicy. This could also be a jungle pick, but I'm not going to talk about it until it's actually locked in. Just like
we called it.
We called it,
Clement.
This is the blank check given to SMLZ. Write what you want, Tahm Kench. I even drew Tahm Kench on my notepad. Yeah, but the camera turned away too fast. I couldn't show my Tahm Kench drawing.
It's a beautiful drawing, guys.
Yes. I
should post it on Twitter later. Show everyone your artistic abilities. Be like, hey, I'm a translator, interviewer, host, caster, and artist.
I'm actually so disappointed in how well I know these teams. Like, sometimes you know what's better for them, but you also know what they're going to do, too. But, okay, V5, thinking about their selections, I would say go for Galio. I think that's a great pick. It can really punish SMLZ. You can never be left alone in lane. If you have the Galio, you can just flash taunt him. So well, I really like the idea.
To be fair, we've learned that you can never leave SMLZ in lane, period. Does not tend to go well for Suning. So I like you said, the Galio pickup, good synergy with that. And now, oh no, Jinoo got Kennen again.
Yeah, that's exactly why you go on the blue side. Look at Jinoo, he's like, well, I got Kennen. Nani?
Angel will get the Zoe, again, I almost called it the Yagao.
This is his best champion. Overall, I think Angel actually had some very proficient performances on Lissandra, but his main criticism, the main criticism I would levy towards him is that he actually has a very, very small effective champion pool. Basically, he plays Ryze, Zoe, Lissandra, and that's about it. So it was pretty easy for V5 to guess the draft, and at least this time they don't have to face a Sylas. So that's good for them. And I wonder what Corn's actually going to pick up against the Zoe. We've been seeing a lot of Corkis being selected. You just have the range advantage to not care about him.
We've seen the LeBlanc as well.
Yeah, but LeBlanc's banned, so.
Yes, it is. So it's interesting that they banned that, knowing that they were likely going to force Angel into picking this Zoe. They're Suning instead are focusing on the AD carry position, trying to take away options from Y4 and V5. Deciding what to do with their last ban, they took away the Yorick in the top lane.
So it does look like a potential... Oh, never mind. I was thinking about potential Urgot, but they already have the Kennen top lane, so it's not going to be that. Suning, definitely, this is the blank check for SMLZ. Look at the AD carry bans they're throwing out. What they're saying is, please do not disrupt my scaling situation. I will carry you past 30 minutes. Please ban away Ashe and Kalista.
Well, Lucian is still on the board.
If he selects Lucian, I'm going to be so depressed. There is no way you pick Lucian plus Tahm Kench. It does. Look, SMLZ's even smiling. When was the last time you've seen SMLZ smile? He's like, haha, I see you're coming back to me now.
I love that I love that he's so stoic that is what we consider like beaming with pride smile for him.
That's the best spirits I've seen SMLZ on. Look, he's actually talking. He's like running the team right now. Like, yes, and you will select me my Kog'Maw now.
Why didn't you pick up Karma for the mid laner? Can you pick Lulu for the top laner? Bio, play Lulu.
I will not accept Cho'Gath.
Cho'Gath does not give me healing and shields. I need you to go for Lulu, build Ardent Sensor, and build Athenes, and build Redemption. We're going to have 3 Redemptions on the team. Zoe will pick one up with W. He will use it on me immediately in the bot lane so I have a better laning phase.
And we just had a sign there. It said SwordArT, best support. Still have some fans out there inside the LGD infested arena. I don't get it. Like, LGD actually have their own arena, but they have fans everywhere else as well.
I love that they're the default. In terms of the chants, they're like TSM. They just show up anytime in China. If you hear a third chant, there's a 90% chance it's LGD, and there's a 10% chance here in Shanghai that it will actually be TSM.
Yeah. Well, LGD do share the same international results with them, so maybe that makes them its fan favorite. I don't know.
A little bit spicy there. A little bit spicy there, Clement.
No, I'm just in a bad mood. I'm sorry. But it does look like we have some technical difficulties. We just got word from production that this is Bubu's, because it's his debut. Because it's his debut, that there were some setting issues. And that's why we're going into the backup ban pick screen. And they're trying to sort that through now on stage.
I don't know how I feel about a more rookie top laner going into Jinoo. Because I understand if you want to switch champion pools, I understand if you want to switch mentality, but I don't know if he's a stronger top laner than XiaoAL, because we've seen XiaoAL pull out so many carry performances, and we've seen Jinoo do the same. Bio is sort of an unproven, especially here on the big stage. And this is Suning's playoff chances right here, this series. Yeah. So they're betting a lot on what is essentially an unproven rookie.
I'm honestly super surprised as well. You have a core roster of 4 basically all-star caliber players, and you're sitting out 2 of them in each game. And I think like this is definitely not where Suning want to be, but it's where they have chosen to take their last stand. On the SMLZ hill, they will live and die. The Tahm Kench was the first pick, so I think that does say so much. Says so much about the team.
Well, actually, there's something interesting about them bringing SMLZ in and trying to prioritize around him so well and keeping Angel. Because I feel like Maple's champion pool does very well into that style because he plays the Lissandra, he plays the Galio, which can both set up for the ADC and fight, peel for the ADC, and cause a lot of problems for anyone who dies.
Yeah, I think Maple actually functioned well in his role of just a main initiator on the team. If you look at who was initiating for the entire Sunning squad, it was actually primarily the mid laner. SwordArT was down to Tahm Kench duty. He was always by SMLZ's side. XiaoAL is a 4-1 bruiser type of player. He's not going to be the one going in first. And Hacker, frankly, did not have the best engage sense. So I understand why Maple is put on that role of the Lissandra and the Galio most of the time. But it probably wasn't the best use of his talents. I felt like Maple actually had several very strong games against Knight especially. Where he did lack and why I think they were sitting him out was his mid-game decision-making was pretty suspect. In this previous series, he was the one that was caught out, cost him the Baron, and with the Talia wall, he actually tried to get a Renekton with GA and lost multiple inhibitors. So mid-game shot calling, mid-game decision-making, and of course we never know if the mid-game calls are from a specific player, but from what we could tell, Maple really wasn't that consistent down the stretch. And taking a look at V5 right here, this is sort of a super team of their own. Today they're actually running with a pretty unique roster. It's not their main roster. They actually run with Ben 4 and Lei the majority of the times. And we're actually going to see a reband pick. Not sure what happened. We didn't get word from production, but it does look like the same bands and probably will be the same picks.
Could crash. You know, we are on the backup pick band, so maybe there were some issues in the back end. I was thinking maybe this was some next level strategy by Sunning here to try and break the mental of V5, being like, okay, we're going to bring in our sub-top laner who's never played before, and it's going to make him cause all these settings, and then if V5 wins game number 1, resets their momentum, and maybe they'll get bored. Our players, we know they're good. We know they can take it to the late game and still sometimes lose, but they can take the long pause. But it is going to be the same pick band, as you were mentioning. Now they're going to go through the 80 carry bands again. Kallista's going to be up next. I'm going to pretend to be psychic here. There's going to be a Kalista band somewhere in here.
Well, it does look like the exact same band pick. So, like you were talking about, it's Kalista. And for Sunning, the question right here is, what 80 carry did they pick? I don't really want to see a Lucian. I understand that Lucian doesn't have many counter picks, but against a Rek'Sai, Galio, and a Kennen, I don't think Lucian can survive that well. I would prefer a...
Okay. How about that, Clement? How do you feel about the Jhin?
I would have preferred the Kog'Maw. Okay, so a bit of history. Jhin is SMLZ's favorite champion. He's known as the Chinese sniper. He's actually really good on it. However, I would not consider Jhin in meta whatsoever. Sunning gave the blank check to SMLZ, and SMLZ drew them a picture that they did not want to see.
Yeah, I mean, when you say blank check, Clement, I did not think it would go that far. But it has. So now we're going to have Ezreal versus Jhin in the bot lane.
I believe this is the first Jhin of the split. Huh.
All right, well let's take this at face value. Let's take it for what if they lock in that Jax. I need to say. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's a top lane Jarvan.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, is it top lane Nocturne? That would also be a first.
Oh, please be top lane Nocturne. It's not gonna be. But
okay.
I was really hoping for it. Okay. So the top lane Jarvan and the Jhin. These are two surprises if I were to categorize them, whereas V5 going for a much more standard composition. Jarvan into Kennen. I don't feel good about this.
That matchup is actually quite decent because even with Proto Belt, Kennen can't actually get out of the Cataclysm. He has to expend Flash to do so. So I can understand that pick. It's just to limit Kennen in the team fights. Kennen should still have a pretty good, decent laning phase. So that pick for me actually makes sense. But looking down the roster, I really don't know what to expect of the Jhin. It has great sniping potential, I guess, with the Nocturne. So, I mean, it's a more cohesive comp than Game 1, and Sunning seem happy about their draft. Even SMLZ is smirking. Look at SwordArT. I can't read that expression, but I don't think that's a happy expression. He's like, I thought you were saying you're going to go on a hyper carry. It's like, my Jhin is a hyper carry.
Anything I play is a hyper carry, silly SwordArT. We will play the Jhin and we shall win.
All right, but this is playoff on the line.
Yeah, this is so risky. Let's just run it down for everyone. They've subbed in a top laner who has not played in the LPL. They picked him top lane Jarvin. They brought in SwordArT on a Tahm Kench. SMLZ came back in to sub in. He's going to be playing Jhin of all picks. And they have Angel and Weiwei, the lesser experienced players, in the jungle and mid. This is all bets are on at this point, coming into game number 2 of Suning versus V5, and we'll see if Suning's surprise strats can pull them out a win. Oh, okay, they forced the flash from Y4.
Well done. They always know that Ezreals are looking for those extra kleptomancy procs, so an early punish being set up. Very well played. They actually did that in game 1 as well. We did get confirmation from our production that that is the first Jhin of 2019 in the LPL.
So let's talk about it a little bit then, because we haven't seen it yet. How well does it do into the Ezreal? How well does it scale? We were joking about it being SMLZ's hyper carry.
Okay. That's your answer.
Good answer.
It's quite interesting that he's actually taking the fleet footwork. A lot of times we see Halo Blades as well. You can get to your 4th shot a little bit faster. Great setup by Suning. I really enjoy that. And Angel's actually bringing Teleport plus Unsealed Spellbook.
Okay.
Another part of the blank check. Please come to my lane in a notice.
Okay.
You don't need Ignite. Don't take Ignite on Zoe. It's fine.
You don't need to win your lane. You need to win my lane.
Exactly.
I love that Biobio was just running him down. Like, I will get this auto eventually. Didn't get it, but there. It's airy on Jarvin.
Please
tell me it's
gonna
AP.
max standard.
I like. It's not going to be AP, but please tell me it's AP.
We have actually seen AP Jarvin in the bot lane as a support. That's not a joke. It's actually something that was played in professional. I'm not sure we're going to see it now.
Part of me hopes we do.
It does make sense in this setup.
I love how I can hear the cogs turning in your mind while you're trying to figure out what exactly Suning are on about. Because I don't think any of us really have a grasp, maybe including Suning. Weiwei's pathing as well has been a little bit interesting. Wolves to Scuttle, back to his red. So this entire game is filled with giant question marks, and now we're going to see the invade from Pepper. He's a level up. Weiwei has to be real careful here. He will secure the red buff, I believe. SMLZ not going to land the Deadly Flourish. So this is one hell of a game we have on our hands, Clement. Where are we looking?
We're looking at the bot side. It has to be the bot lane. Like, the amount of globals and teleports and just utility provided to SMLZ, he has to carry this. Like, that's the one true Lord and Savior for Suning. It's SMLZ at the end of the day. You can bench him, but at the end of the day, you still need to rely on him.
Biobio having some trouble here in the top lane. The teleport. Okay.
Okay. So this is actually reasonable because they understood Rek'Sai's pathing. They saw him on the top side, and they were there to prevent him from being dove. Now, this also does speed up Nocturne's build as well, and the only question mark I have for this is not typically how you would play a Zoe. This is support Zoe, basically.
Yeah, this is just really interesting play coming out from Suning. I mean, it stopped the gank, sure, but I feel like that wasted a lot of time that you could be spending in the mid lane, and now you're going to be stuck without a lot of pressure, without a lot of farm. Like, it really is all about SMLZ making sure nobody dies so that he can carry.
Yeah, there has to be some backstory to this game. Like, I honestly want to hear what the coach's decisions were, what SMLZ's decisions were.
This feels like EasyHoon and Comet just had a fever dream one night. And they woke up and one of them knocked on the other's door and they're like, EasyHoon, 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 I have this idea. We're gonna win. It's like, okay, go on. All right, listen to this. We're going to pick Jarvan, but it's going to be in the top lane. Okay, keep going. We're going to pick Zoe. It's going to rock teleport and unsealed spellbook, and it's just going to teleport to stop ganks to the top lane. Also, we're running Bew. I know that sounds crazy, but just listen to me. We got this. We're going to give SMLZ Jhin. And Easy Hoon was like, yeah, dude, that sounds sick. And that's the story of this game. And so far, I mean, it's going better. The top lane is not 0-2 by 6 minutes, but is heavily down in CS, as is the mid lane because of that teleport play.
Yep, and V5 are still walking away with a sizable CS lead. Jinoo's having fun in the top side. We were talking about this, that I don't see the Jarvan winning lane. It's more of a team fight pick. The mid lane is countered as well, and really isn't expected to do much. I think V5 is going to be able to run away with a lot of turret plating. Nocturne can't really face the Rek'Sai early on either. And look at that defense of the bot side. That's really good warding by Pepper. The amount of attention he's putting down towards SMLZ. You know what? Suning might not know the game plan, but it seems like Pepper does.
Yeah, Pepper going to go for the Ocean Drake now as well. Should be able to take that uncontested now that his bot lane's there to help. This is a continually evolving game of weirdness. And I kind of dig it, Clement. You know, when playoff hopes are on the line, sometimes you got to dig into the back pocket, find something weird. Suning seemed to have been doing just that, but V5 going for a much more standard play. Angel going to survive the Unleash power. Now Weiwei looking for the gank. Will land the Q onto Korn. Angel lands his paddle star, but will force out the flash of Korn. Pepper's here to return gank.
Yep, and Weiwei has been counter jungled quite significantly. He does need help. Uh-oh.
No knockup going to land. No mana left on Korn, so this shouldn't be much more of a fight. Weiwei still looking for that level 6, just not quite able to find it. And I think level 6 is an interesting point for this team because you have such incredible ultimates. You have the Paranoia from Nocturne, have the Cataclysm from Jarvan. If he had TP, maybe they could go for like a 4-man bot dive.
Honestly, like, Suning do have a lot of good sniping potential on this team. I want to see if they can force feed Weiwei to level 6. Like, he's been taking a lot of farm in the mid lane. I believe this camp will do it for him. And I expect him to go directly towards the bot side. Try to get that, try to get Galio at least. I think Galio's a pretty easy target to go for.
Angel, good flash. Will dodge the knockup, but he is so low. That is the first blood onto Pepper.
Yeah, really good solo kill coming in from Pepper, actually.
Weiwei coming in. We'll try and get the Fear onto Jinoo. Forces out the flash. Fear does land as well. But Jinoo will be safe for now. Weiwei has achieved level 6, but very low on mana. Look at that. Pepper pinging onto the red buff of Weiwei, and it looks like he'll get it uncontested. Oh no. Weiwei, don't. Don't do it, buddy.
Does see Pepper.
They see each other here, so they should pass each other off. I don't think this is a good fight for either of them right now.
Yeah. You do have Korn going back in the mid lane, so Rek'Sai's not going to be super aggressive on that play. I felt it was pretty interesting that Weiwei actually saved his flash, because that was a situation where if Bew followed up, they could have gotten the kill onto Jinoo. They knew where Syndra was, but instead he's saving it. So that just goes more into my theory that everything's going to go toward the bot side. If SMLZ is going to be unbenched and he has the Kench as well, you have to snowball for him.
He's got the BF sword, so he's doing pretty well in this lane so far. Fairy Charm as well in his inventory. So he's going to have some mana sustain on top of it. But nothing really has happened in terms of action in this game. Just one kill so far, but V5, even that being said, are up 1.4k and a dragon. So Suning can't afford to keep this pace up.
Yeah, it's not a... I'm trying to think of how they can play the later game team fights, but looking at V5's comp, they actually have a lot of targets they can go on. The thing about Jhin is that if you play a double tank composition, Jhin almost does nothing. He cannot find backline access. Even if he tries for the curtain call, most of the time it's just going to land on a tanky body. You're not going to do much with it. But against V5's composition, he actually has a fairly sizable amount of targets.
Ooh, there's good damage trade there onto Jinoo from Bew. He's picked up the Tiamat now, so he's having a little bit of a better time in the lane, it seems. Who won the blue buff battle? I'm going to assume not the side of Suning, but they may be able to win the mid lane battle here with this gank. Get the Fear, the cleanse away. Angel barely alive. There's the ultimate.
Oh,
SwordArT! What a save! They will be able to take off Angel on the back line finally, but that Devour was absolutely insane.
Yeah, unfortunate for them, the last tick of some sort of damage did happen, and Angel still fell down. The bot lane was called towards that area, and this is a massive snowball on V5, and they win out on both sides of the map despite not being the aggressors. Can this teleport save it?
Teleport's coming in. 3v2 here in the bot lane. They're looking for Road. They're going to land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Exhaust. There's the stun as well. Road goes down. SMLZ gets his first kill of the game, and the snowball's starting up for Suning.
And so Suning gets something back on the board, but that was a lot expended in the mid lane. You could see SwordArT having to roam up, Weiwei not being able to get anything with the first Paranoia, and honestly, Korn played that so well. The Scatter of the Weak on the back end of that stopped Angel from doing any of his damage. He missed the initial Paddle Star as well, and great outplay by Korn.
And of course, you have to look at the turret plantings as well. V5 in the mid lane, at the very least, have done so well. They've pushed down 3 so far. So Korn having the time of his life. He's up 20 CS on top of it. Top lane 20 CS up as well. Like we've been saying this entire game, Clement, it's all about the bot lane. And they're the only lane that is doing well, or at least even. So there's so much pressure on this to do well. They have Cataclysm on Bugio as well as Teleport. Soon Paranoia will be up for Weiwei. So they could go for a bottom lane gank.
You know what I realized? Even though Angel is playing Zoe, he's actually playing it like a Lissandra. It's 2 teleports to other lanes. He's down by a lot of CS. He's not even really trying to get kills anywhere on the map. Usually you see Zoe and it's a mid-jungle composition that wants to go in and get snowballs. But not this time.
That Scuttle Crab is way out of position.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's doing, Clement.
That was taken by SwordArT. So SwordArT basically kidnapped the Scuttle, put it into his own jungle.
Right. That Scuttle Crab had what I call the SMLZ positioning. Just a little too deep. But now Suning will be able to pick that one up, and the gold lead has not expanded here for Victory 5, so this is at the very least good for Suning, especially in the top lane. You look, the CS lead is large for Jinoo, yes, but Bubu has the Tiamat. He's been able to wave clear and keep himself sustained up into this matchup.
The big question is Suning's composition actually going to work in the team fights? Can they lock the Jinoo up in one side and open fire on the rest? Can they find those targets and have that selection? Can the Chinese sniper actually find those headshots?
That's what we're waiting for. This could be the chance. That is so much damage, but the flash will keep Pepper safe. That said, the Mountain Dragon is available, and no smite on Pepper now, so if they wanted to go for it, Suning would have a fair chance of contesting.
Oof, 2 Paranoias with no kills so far. It really does hurt Nocturne to be 0-0-0. He's a backline diver. If he does not get ahead with that Paranoia, he typically has a very bad late game.
Bubu's positioned really questionably, but he will make it over. The flash coming in from Jinoo with the slicing maelstrom. Goodbye, Bubu. Bubu turns into bye-bye after that play.
Well, we knew he wasn't going to be doing well in lane. That's all I can say for him.
I feel like that one could have been avoided, though.
Yeah, he probably... I think the correct play would probably be Cataclysm and wait for him to flash and then EQ out, but with the amount of stuns that Jinoo had and the amount of auto attacks he had, he still wouldn't have been in a good position.
Here comes the gank in the mid lane. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, but Korn will cleanse it. Good timing on that. Now the Rift Herald has been taken and placed top. So this could be 2 towers. There's no one here to respond for Suning. Teleport is on SMLZ, but I don't think they're going to send their AD carry away from his position as Lord of Farm in the bot lane.
Yep. Suning trying so hard to get things back, but just look at that gold lead. Once again, the top side is almost ballooned to a 3,000 gold deficit. Mid lane is behind. The only part of the map that's winning still is SMLZ in the bot side.
The jungle as well has been suffering through this. Pepper just constantly counter jungling. Yes, he's down in experience, but Weiwei has gotten, or had gotten, a lot of solo gold in the mid lane while Angel was roaming around. So these odd strategies from Suning, there's a reason we haven't seen them before, and it would seem to be that they're a little bit suboptimal, at least until they can get the team fights off.
Well, in SMLZ we trust. Can he actually get anything?
Speaking frankly, Clement,
keep not a lot of wave clear on Suning's bot side either. Did expend the teleport from Angel just to get in position to defend SMLZ.
Damning with faint praise if I've ever heard it for Suning there. It's like, well, they didn't die. They didn't lose everything, at least.
Yeah, I really do expect more of a... honestly, I don't mind if Suning explode as long as they don't implode. I'm satisfied. Looking at the top side, however, that is a lead that is going to be very hard to make up. One item up, essentially, for the Kennen.
SwordArT gets taunted there, and a lot of damage going to come through. Deadly Flourish will get the Brood onto Road at the very least, but Pepper is also here. The entirety of V5 are on this bot side of the map. The stun lands onto Angel. He's going to be in a lot of trouble, but keeps out of vision for the time being.
You gotta say, Korn has been on point with those Scatter of the Weeks. He's been finding Angel over and over again. There are no low health targets. There is a curtain call, however.
Mountain Drake will go over uncontested to Victory 5. The next one will be an Ocean. Baron is spawning in just a minute, so big important part is for Suning to try and get a team fight that they can actually use all of their ultimates in. We have not seen a Cataclysm this game. We have not seen a fairly successful Paranoia where a kill went off. We haven't seen a successful Curtain Call. Those are 3 playmaking ultimates that need to be successful for Suning, and all 3 have fallen flat so far.
Gold lead still very much in favor of V5, and the question is, how are V5 going to try and accelerate this game? They already have the top side open up completely. I think they should be looking at the bot side and trying to make that crucial play in crushing this bottom lane. They should be able to move resources into that lane sooner than the Suning squad, but they're very hesitant. They know that SMLZ has decreed this game plan. They know everyone's going to be there in an instant. So I feel like V5 right now, they know their game plan, but they just don't want to risk it.
Is there much danger in them not wanting to risk it, though, at this point? Because I feel like Jinoo's just going to keep scaling, whereas BuBu, maybe scales up and gets a little bit of tankiness, but he's not going to suddenly start blowing up the team or anything.
Yep. Theoretically, Suning should not be able to hold on to their bot lane tower. It's just a matter of time before V5 can collapse that. They have just way too much map control.
Seems like with that in mind, Suning have decided to swap their bottom lane into the top. SMLZ declaring that that is another land under his reign. That is his fiefdom, and those are his serfs, the minions.
Yes, all pushing waves, pushing into us, belong to SMLZ. All waves that are pushing outward and are very risky to pick up. BuBu, you're on the job.
At least he's living through this, and he's trying to even up the CS lead there for Jinoo. It went from 50 to about 30. I suspect it'll start evening out soon as well, because he doesn't seem to be anchored down to one spot. He's just rotating around the map. He has teleport available. Paranoia, Cataclysm, both back up right now, so Suning, I kind of just want to see him make a play, Clement. They haven't really done a whole lot this game, and this was a criticism we had last time. BuBu will secure the Scuttle Crab. Jinoo doesn't want to go for the re-engage there either.
I will say, the later this game goes, the more I actually like Suning's composition. I feel like SMLZ is going to have a very easy time bursting down targets. There's really nobody that's tanky on V5 right now. And Syndra plus Rek'Sai to me is not a very good scaling composition mid-jungle wise. They're going to get opened up on from Suning. Suning should be able to control the engages on that front. So, you know, Suning are actually sitting in a decent position just scaling up this way.
But how long do they have to wait in order to be happy with the scaling they've achieved? Because we know, we've seen what happens when a Zoe gets out of control. We've seen what happens when a Zoe gets farmed as well. Just get pick after pick after pick. Is that what they're waiting for?
No, they're waiting for SMLZ 3 items. You have to read the situation.
I have to read the Suning script.
In the context of the ban pick, yes.
Everyone's on the SMLZ bus. He's deciding when and where to turn.
Look, he's saying, you know what? Weiwei, SwordArT, one person not enough. Weiwei, you follow me too. Jinoo might be coming in. He does have to flash, but he's not going to get the 3-man.
BuBu spots him out. So now Suning just defending this tower. And once again, SMLZ check him on the map. To be fair to SMLZ, so far he's kept up in farm with Y4, whose team is having a much better game macro-wise, and he is yet to die. So those are two things very much in favor of SMLZ, especially based on his past performances where neither of those things were things he's particularly strong at. Pepper, not going to be able to go for the engagement. This is 5 versus 3 over here towards red buff of Suning. We'll be able to disengage it. SMLZ looking towards the top side once again. He's farming the Krugs, man. He is just farming his face off at this point. Should be able to base and pick up a little something extra, but not quite at the 3 items. Weiwei based as well and was able to pick up the Guardian Angel.
Yeah. So these drakes have not been favorable to V5. They don't really help them accelerate the game in any real sense, and V5 have been finding it very difficult to get the engages they want. Their best chance is to clear out Vision on the top side and get a Scatter the Weak. I think that's the easiest way to get something going. However, Suning do outrange them in that department as well. So it's been hard for V5. I feel like they do want to pick up the pace, but they just haven't been having the skill shots land.
Well, they're also just letting Jinoo farm up, and that was fine last game because he had such a dominating lead. But if you look at the CS lead, it's slowly closing. BuBu is continuing to pick up farm.
Yeah, Jinoo's going to have a much harder time getting into the enemy composition, the backline this time around. Like we were saying, the Electric Rush, the Proto Belt, they don't go through Cataclysm. He has to expend his flash every single time he wants to go in, and that does make it much easier for SMLZ with blind skill shots to halt him in place.
We'll secure that. The 4th shot looking like it does a healthy amount of damage, 1534 on the crit, so if they are able to get a pick off here, I think Suning will have a pretty decent chance, but instead it looks like V5 are going for the pick. They seem to have realized that if they just let this keep scaling, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So Pepper and Corn, if they could find SMLZ on the side lane, they had a chance. But into Angel, I feel like he just is safer.
Yep.
So now
double Trinket's still up for Suning, so they can drag this out for a very, very long time if they time their Trinkets correctly. Okay, so that's another sweeper going down. Suning still holding very strong control of their own top side.
Everything's being played around the Baron pit right now, but it looks like they will have Corn backing back to basic. This time they might be able to pick out Road here. Nope, just land the root and make him back off. So this game has slowed down significantly and will allow Suning time to scale up. But V5 just need to find a way to accelerate it, and so far have not been having much luck. Like you said, the Dragons aren't helping them very much with that. This will be the 2nd Ocean Drake they are going to be able to not contest from Suning, so they'll pick this one up. And that's great. They have 3 Dragons, but it doesn't seem to be helping them all that much. And they'll finally take down the last outer tower. So all 3 outers down. Baron is on the field 26 minutes in, and they still have a 5K gold lead. But it's worth noting, Clement, that that gold lead has not expanded much.
No, not at all. Like, Suning's actually doing a good job keeping this game relatively even. That being said, SMLZ is a little bit overextended, and Corn is going in for the kill.
This is the pick we were talking about. If they're able to get this one off, this is essentially just the game. SwordArT sees it coming. SMLZ is going to have to go in. Hero's entrance as well. SMLZ gets knocked up by it. Road with the taunt as well. Here comes the paranoia. They've kept SMLZ alive. He's been devoured, and he's in the backline. Redemption going down to keep him health up, and they are playing around him brilliantly. Curtain Call comes out. GA's been popped so far, and now Angel still alive. True Shot Barrage not going to kill him. They've taken down Weiwei so far. Suning on the back foot. Angel finally falls down. SMLZ not able to find the kill just yet. He gets it, the shutdown, but Jinoo goes into the backline with the Slicing Maelstrom. It is SwordArT and SMLZ versus the world at this point, and all of V5 are low on health. So it looks like they're just going to back out and potentially turn on to the Baron. Suning only pick up the 1 kill.
Yeah, and V5 have double Ocean Drakes too, so they're going to be relatively healthy as they start this. Abyssal Voyage is still up for SwordArT. He should be popping it instantly. This is a 4v2 situation. We've seen how these work in the LPL. RNG comes to mind. Can SMLZ replicate that?
Doesn't have the Curtain Call, doesn't have the flash, just the teleport and his basic abilities, but just the threat of SMLZ's Jhin is enough to force off Victory 5 for the time being.
And we actually saw some of the Suning team fighting in practice. Let's take a look out here. The most important thing in this play was the exhaust. taking away all that damage from Syndra's burst, keeping SMLZ alive. Weiwei goes in, has to come out immediately, but watch this play as well. BuBu, he's there for the team fights. He's the rookie debut top laner, and he does a great job with this. This is a perfect, picture-perfect use of Cataclysm with Flag Drag combo. Unfortunately, mid-jungle still caught out on the other side, and they're only able to get one kill off of this. I really like how Jinoo played this team fight as well. He was super patient on holding on to the Maelstrom. He didn't want to pop it early. He made sure that Cataclysm was already expended before he used it.
It's worth noting as well that the one kill was a shutdown there onto Pepper, so extra gold going into the pocket of SMLZ. So he's still scaling up, still being able to build. He's going to be looking towards that Maw third item. Give him a little bit of safety.
Resist. Yep. Does want to go for the lifeline as well. So he's going to be pretty well off.
Does of course mean that he won't be able to pick up the Phantom Dancer as well, so he might be going for the double on hit. And with the fleet footwork, we could be looking at a Stormrazor. That makes me a little bit excited.
9.5, Stormrazor did get a nice buff. I'm actually not that familiar with Jhin builds right now, since this is the first time we're seeing Jhin throughout the entire season. But I would like to, I do think a little bit more crit would be better.
With Fleet and the Rapid Fire Cannon already completed, if he goes for Shiv next, I feel like the Stormrazor is a decent way to finish out the build. But SwordArT, not going to be caught out just yet, but we'll have to use his gray health, and he's been chunked down pretty significantly. They do not have any Ocean Drakes, so that poke is going to stick onto SwordArT around this Baron fight. True Shot Barrage. SwordArT will dodge it out.
That was not stopped from Weiwei's part. And they're going to have to wait for Jarvin before they really contest this, but SMLZ is starting to do damage. 1,000 shot on that red buff.
Double Redemption is coming in. If SwordArT gets taken out, that's the team fight. Very dangerous for Suning. Now they're opening up with the curtain call. The Paranoia goes in. They're able to pick off the 80 carry on the backline. Y4 is down. SMLZ still full health. And this will be the end of the fight. That's all they needed to do. They got off a pick. And now V5 decide they can't go for the Baron.
And SMLZ says, you know what? I want to play an FPS game. Can you let me handle it? Puts all the pieces into the back line of Y4 and gets the kills, but can they actually do this? Can V5 get away with this? Abyssal Voyage is still up for SwordArT, and they're already pinging it out. I don't think they're going to be able to take this uncontested.
Abyssal Voyage.
But there's no one there from SwordArT.
Will we see the slurp to end all slurps to take down the Baron? We've seen it happen before. 1,500. SMLZ's there as well. Will not get stolen, but they might try for a fight here on the side. They slow down Corn. Sleepy Trouble Bubble as well onto Pepper. 4 members here for V5. Yobio going to get taunted up there on the backside, but he could get the engage. Corn's chunked out pretty heavily. Y4's here as well. This needs to be the team fight here coming in from Suning. They don't have the Paranoia. Weiwei is walking in, trying to enter the fight. This is a very slow, but the Cataclysm goes down onto road. This should be a free pickoff. SMLZ 3-0-1. He's got the Essence Reaver as well. Tons of damage onto him, but they've given up the Baron at this point.
That's still a small win for V5. They should be able to hold on to this mid lane tower. Corn is already rotating back. But Suning claw themselves into a very good position in terms of map control. Can Pepper find something here? He's going to follow up if the Scatter of the Weak lands. Not really.
Pepper is a scary initiator for V5 now because he has both the GA and the Sterix Gauge. It's a lot of ways to stay alive and get onto SMLZ, who is the priority for Suning in every fight.
Yep, 75% crit for him right now. The Essence Reaver, I really like that buy on him. He's been lacking mana for the past couple of team fights and also attack damage. So he's already up 575 at this point.
Whew. He's getting up there.
Yep.
If they could get an Infernal Drake, that would have been ideal for them, but none have spawned this game.
Jhin, a very good champion to scale with bonus AD, so the scaling from SMLZ right now, if he can play that kiting game and if his teammates can help him lock up with the artificial terrain created by BuBu, we could see Suning actually come out with the surprise win.
They've been doing a wonderful job of it so far, to be fair. Every single team fight, they wait for SMLZ to get the kill, then once he does, they know it's enough pressure and they back off.
Yep. And V5, they don't actually have a lot of backline access at this point. It's going to be hard for Kennen to find his way in.
Wow. It's a lot of damage. There goes the curtain call. True Shot Barrage as well to answer. Not going to land and pop the Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Jinoo, but that is V5 forced off at least temporarily.
Yeah, good move by Corn to take all of the damage right there. Current Call does scale with missing HP, so if you're at that level, you should be relatively safe. Of course, they do run the trouble of if someone is blocking for Current Call, they could very well take a Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Now, Suning defend the Baron push so far, just 1 minute left, so they've done an amazing job at stalling out this game so far. Again, V5, only 5,000 up in gold, has not expanded since about the 22-minute mark. So now, as this gets later into the game, it becomes less and less important. But what is important is that the Elder is going to be coming up next. The Baron will be coming up within a few minutes as well, and those are the windows around which Suning will need to fight.
These fights can really end in an instant. SMLZ is pretty much capable of two-shotting Kennen by this point. And same things goes for Jinoo. If Jinoo finds himself in the back line, he pretty much can instantly kill SMLZ as well. So the fights are going to be super short. They're going to be about if V5 can actually find the flanks they're looking for.
Jinoo split pushing in the bottom side, so at the very least, if Suning were able to pull out a fight here, it would be a good delay tactic for him. But just 9 seconds remaining on the Baron buff, after which they'll be able to push them off. And it looks like V5 already aware of this, going to start walking away of their own volition. Again, Elder not quite up. And V5 have expanded the gold lead slightly, but again, still not huge. 7K now, up from 5K. Suning are doing an admirable job holding on. Like we were saying, it's the SMLZ train. It's time for him to carry 3-0-1 on this Jhin. Still has not died. He is the core of their team fights. And he has good engaged champions around him. The Jarvan is tanked up quite considerably. Weiwei is working on it. He's got the Jorum's Fist there alongside the Guardian Angel, which is still active. So they have the engage potential. They have the peel potential in Angel and SwordArT. And they have the poke potential in Angel and, of course, SMLZ.
Yeah, and you can see the way that they're distributing farm. Honestly, Angel is so far behind in his items, but it doesn't matter. They're constantly giving the farm over to SMLZ. He's taking all of the incoming waves, and you can tell it in the CS score. Even though Suning had a bad early game, SMLZ still up by 40 CS.
Well, when you look at the other solo lanes, and it's not actually as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I think Bubu has done actually quite an admirable job getting back into the game. He had an atrocious laning phase, but it didn't matter much.
He was down by, I think, 40 full CS at one point. Now he's just down by 30, which feels very weird to say, but 30 CS at 35 minutes is a lot better than 40 at 15. So they're just going to keep the side waves controlled. Baron up in a minute, Elder in a minute 10. So it's the macro choice once again. What does each team prioritize? Who are they going to go for?
It's V5 that has to be the aggressive ones in these team fights. They have the shorter range, and they have to run into Suning's composition. It's a very daunting task, but that's basically how they have to end the game. For Suning, they have a lot of protection. They have the Tahm Kench, first pick, like we were guessing, and Bubu with the Cataclysm. So it's going to be very hard for Jinoo to run across that track. However, we do have to mention that V5 do have some scaling of their own. This is patch 9.5. They still have double tier on the Ezreal.
Jinoo almost hitting that 6-item point. Looks like he might be going for the Spellbinder last. Has the needlessly large rod. So he's getting pretty big in the damage, and it looks like Pepper is going for a very, very late Black Cleaver.
Are you ready for the fireworks? This is going to be one big team fight to end it all.
SMLZ going to be looking good on it. It's a lot of damage onto Bio. But Y4 won't be able to land his poke on top of it. So now just carefully positioning. Oh no. Jinoo with the flank. We've seen what he can do with better angles before.
He's unspotted. Y4 not tagged.
Sleepy Trouble has not landed. Oh boy. This is really dangerous for Suning. If they're not able to spot out or intuit that Jinoo is on the side, they're all but dead already.
Same thing goes for V5. If someone gets hit by Captive Audience or the Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Oh, there's the Cataclysm. Paranoia going to follow up as well. Look at Jinoo on the back. Is he going to be able to pull off the flank? SMLZ is still alive. He's staying away from Jinoo as best he can. Hero's Entrance comes in, slicing Maelstrom. SMLZ is still safe. Though. Look at the damage that's going to come out. He goes golden. Captive Audience is there. But is it going to be enough damage? SMLZ not able to get the shutdown. He will take out Jinoo. And the mid laner for V5 is down as well. Pepper and Y4, the last two 2 remaining in this fight, and it looks like Suning have done it. They've stalled out the fight and kept themselves alive.
Massive teamfight victory for Suning. Actually, BuBu is the one to go in first on that one. So they lock up the potential threats from V5 and then still have the coordination to walk away from the incoming slicing Maelstrom. Kennen not able to find the stun on SMLZ. Great work by SwordArT, great work by the positioning from the team. And V5, who've been leading this entire game, suddenly find themselves in a precarious position.
Uh-oh, there's the Baron going down. They now need to go fight for the Elder Dragon, which is up. SMLZ has teleport if he so needs it. Elder Dragon in half.
Fast enough. Maybe.
Elder Dragon in 3,000,
they should be able to do it. They should be able to do it.
Redemption, not going to be able to get the steal. Will be secured by
Pepper's
Pepper,
tagged.
but he's going to get tagged. Sleepy Trouble Bubble, there's the follow-up from BuBu. They should be able to get this kill. Cataclysm to follow up. They have dedicated a lot of abilities just to take out the jungler here, and the Elder Dragon buff is going to be helping with the poke so much. They'll finally take down Pepper, but V5 have 4 members with the Elder buff remaining for the next 2 minutes.
It's a really smart trade coming in from Y4. There was no chance he could do anything about the Baron. Just instantly go for the Elder Drake. I love that play. That was a very heads-up play. Going through the team fight again. BuBu finds Corn, walks out, and allows for massive Paddle Star damage coming in from Angel. After dishing out that damage, Suning then turns around to protect SMLZ. They walk away from Jinoo. No marks of the storm are actually done to Jinoo, and they get 2 kills, walk away with their front line, and are still able to get a favorable trade. Y4 goes in, can't really find the Zoe that he's been looking for, and Suning take down Baron with that.
Suning have the Baron buff for slightly longer than the Elder buff will be on Victory 5, so if they wanted to stall out, they have that option, but don't know what their path is going to be from here. 5-0-3 on SMLZ. He has hit that 6 item point, so you can no longer wait for him to scale up anymore. He's hit maximum scalitude.
Scalitude, I love that word.
It's very scientific.
You know my favorite word out of the new patch notes?
It's a
scallywag.
That is a good word.
Yeah, that's from the Gangplank.
Yeah, it's very piratey.
For Gangplank to deal with the scallywags of the top lane, he needs 20 extra damage.
Yo, last game XiaoAL was playing like a scallywag, so they subbed in BuBu.
BuBu's doing okay, like
yeah.
He's playing his team fights correctly.
I mean, he's playing the team fights well. He's been doing well in the split push. So honestly, I'm pretty happy with him right now. This is his first time here in the LPL. This is the playoff hopes for Suning.
This is a good position for Pepper. He doesn't have the flash.
Doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the GA either. We'll have the Sterix gauge up available.
I think V5 really do lack an anchor point for Galio to get into the fray. So they have limited ways of actually targeting down SMLZ, but we have to remember SMLZ no longer has his flash. I think the way V5 wants to play is try to get some poke with Y4. If they can actually poke out SMLZ before the fight starts, then they still have a decent chance, but this is the scaling point that we're talking about from Suning.
They've hit their 6 items on their AD carry. The bot lane, both top laners fighting it out for dominance. Sleepy Trouble Bubble nearly catches Pepper.
Pepper's like, that was really close. It was hit right there. He should have been dead.
Angel playing pretty well. Look at that Ignite heal coming out from Angel. All about the combat stats right now. Does not have the flash available just yet as a result. But they'll be able to take down the mid lane tower. Pepper still looking for the flank. Jinoo not going to be able to look for a flank of his own, so it's all up to Pepper at this point. This tower is so low. Look at that damage from the auto of SMLZ. And that's a lot of damage onto him. SwordArT used the Devour. This means that Pepper would have a chance of engaging. True Shot Barrage, the heal from Angel to keep their AD carry, their hopes of winning the game alive.
But that was really good force from V5. We were saying that Y4 needed to be one to thread the needle and find damage onto SMLZ. He's been doing that admirably, but we can see that you need layered engages from V5 for this team fight to actually work out, and that is a corridor of death set out by SMLZ. He's very well aware that the Rek'Sai can't come in from both sides. He's littered the floor with these traps, and those actually do a lot of damage at this point. 1.4 bonus AD ratio on those.
If you can lock him down in one, he's taking like half his health and damage. Just absolutely insane coming out from him. But will that be the case? Pepper going to be safe for the time being, and SMLZ continuing to farm for whatever reason. Maybe looking to sell the boots, potentially?
Yeah, he could still do that.
Using the W there. Should be able to take out this blue buff by himself if he chooses to, but won't go for it. Worth noting that he has the overheal on top of the fleet footwork, so he's going to have that mini bloodthirster effect, keeping him safe if he's able to get pot shots off outside of the fight.
Huh. So SMLZ
sells the boots.
pondering his items.
There it is.
All right,
Double
maximum
energize.
damage.
He is going to walk very slowly, but carry a very large stick.
It almost doesn't matter. Your 5% attack speed at this point pretty much negates it from static shift.
Just need to get the movement there. And V5 setting up for Baron.
Yep, he's much more relying on the terrain at this point.
5-0-3 on SMLZ still. He's been playing out of his mind so far, but the game once again has slowed down. One of the slower games we've had here in the LPL, and probably the slowest that doesn't have a team named BLG in it.
So let's look at the,
oh boy,
the damage coming in from here. 975 attack damage.
Woo! I love that our observer was just like, hold on, we know where you're looking. Right there,
Yeah.
975.
Our observers are super good. Our observer was actually a ex-pro player, challenger still. So he has his own series on observing in the LPL.
Knows exactly what he's looking for and helps us out quite a bit. So that means that fourth shot is basically a one shot if anyone's below half.
Yep. That's going to be instant death between these two teams. Sudden death, I should say.
He does have, I believe, 100% crit chance as well as at this point to 2,278 damage on that fourth shot.
Look at Jinoo. He's trying to find his flanking positions. They spotted Jinoo clearing the ward. Can they actually find him? No.
No Sleepy Trouble Bubble just yet. The Baron has respawned at this point, as has the Elder Drake. This is going to be the question. How does the macro play out? V5 start going for the Baron, and now Suning trying to chase down from the side. They force V5 off, but they don't have vision, so they're not sure what's happening.
SwordArT
SwordArT
super risky. Where is Kennen? That's a question.
And that's the waste of the Devourer as well. They'll be able to secure the Scuttle Crab, but they need to wait so that SMLZ still has safety. He's just going to solo the Elder. He's doing so much damage. It's already at half.
That's 738 damage. A shot, fourth shot does even more damage with the missing
They're
health.
going to take it before the Baron goes down.
And they still have Abyssal Voyage to come and join this fight.
Teleport on SMLZ, Abyssal Voyage, like you said on SwordArT. There's the Paranoia. They're going in for it. SMLZ and SwordArT, look at them. They're on the back line. SMLZ walking forward, looking to open up. There's one shot. There's two shot. He has to reload. He is all the damage for his team. Suning able to pick up one. They've lost their top laner so far. They just need to keep the chase going. Weiwei's GA has been popped at this point. SMLZ and SwordArT lead the charge forward.
Kennen goes
on
down.
the side, Angel was able to pick up Jinoo. So now Suning just trying to chase it out, trying to stop them. Q will land. This should be the death of Road. There's the root. And that's just going to be one or two autos from SMLZ. So much damage. But Pepper and Y4 made it out alive. They have the Baron buff still, and Angel is all by himself. And now the teleport coming in from SMLZ to give safety to his mid laner.
This is a 2v2 situation, but the amount of damage SMLZ can do is just monstrous. We even forgot that he was bringing teleport at this point, so just go straight in. We could see Victory 5 even was doing the pings. They didn't understand what was happening. Angel moving down the lane by himself.
Pepper cutting the wave, doing a good job of stalling out the game for the time being. SMLZ will also pick up this red, but oh my god.
Yeah, that was a really close play for V5. I actually thought that V5 got away with a lot more than their position would have suggested them. They did secure the Baron with Pepper. Well done by him. You can watch this play. Really smart macro play from Suning. They do come in with the Abyssal Voyage. Almost instantly, Corn falls down, but great secure coming in from Pepper, keeping their hopes and dreams alive. And the front line falls a little bit too fast for SMLZ to find safe passage into that team fight. So good work by Jinoo, good work by Pepper. Kennen keeping SwordArT on his toes.
Angel able to pick him off on the side, and then we've seen this chase once before. Clement just going to slowly run Road down. That left only Pepper and Y4 alive at the end of the fight. So now, Suning in a very good position to keep the push going. They don't have the Baron granted, but only Y4 and Pepper have it remaining. Elder buff is going to fall off in 12, Baron buff in a minute 20, so that's the time V5 have to wait it out. 6 items on their AD carry, almost 6 on their mid laner, 6 on the top laner, and on the other side it's a very similar story. 6 on the top, mid, almost, definitely AD carry. The support as well. SwordArT saving just 1 spot for the control wards. So gold lead no longer really matters, and it's even anyways, just 2K in favor of V5. So now what matters is the macro. Now what matters is the team fighting, and so far, Sunning are looking really strong.
V5 do have a bit of poke themselves with Y4. If they can find a crucial target, we've seen Kramer do this so many times. Just a couple mystic shocks, you force someone back to base, and then you can instantly take an inhibitor, an objective, something like that. But that won't happen if Y4 keeps eating these sleepy trouble bubbles.
Good flank bubble by Angel. He needs to make sure he doesn't get caught himself.
SMLZ very willing to risk it, walking forward. Whenever they see Kennen, they should be confident in their team fighting ability. They should be able to press the advantage. This is really coming down to the wire between these two teams. I think Y4 right now is finding it pretty difficult to walk forward. He does have the cleanse that he got from the Mercurial Scimitar, but that's not really going to keep him alive. If he gets hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, it's a very easy follow-up then with the Deadly Flourish as well. So he's trying to play this super safe, and maybe V5 are thinking, you know what, we're not going to go for the siege and poke route. Now we don't have the Baron. Let's try for the flank route with Kennen. And Jinoo really needs to wait for his flash. If he doesn't have this flash, I don't think he can make the strategy work.
Both he and Pepper have been looking for the flanks this entire later stage of the game, but neither have been able to find one. Sunning have been doing a brilliant job scouting out the flanks, warding against them, and getting picks of their own. So it's going to really be all up to that fact.
Sunning should be considered having the advantage here. They do have longer range. They should be the ones that are able to put poke down faster than the enemy team. I feel like V5 for them, they need to find a correct angle and rush in immediately to win one of these team fights. Maybe for V5 right now, they're thinking, you know what, we're going to wait until they all go into the Baron pit. That could be another great idea. You know, Kennen absolutely monstrous in that Baron pit.
Just a minute and a half until both the Elder and the Baron have respawned, so very possibly an option for them.
I want to see where V5 places their backwards. Which objective do they want to go for? These objectives are only 10 seconds apart. So it's really realistic that they could either decide to trade or try to hard defend one. I actually think for V5, the better idea is try to catch Sunning out as they're going in for one objective. You don't have to be there first. You want Sunning to come in on objective, and in a tight corridor, Kennen can deal the majority of his damage and shut SMLZ down.
You have the full stack on the Spellbinder. He's got the Rabadons. He's got the Void Staff. He's got the damage. He just needs to get the angle. But Sunning are playing so defensively. Still 0 deaths on SMLZ, despite the lack of a Guardian Angel. He's been playing absolutely amazingly. And now the Paranoia goes down. They're looking for the engage here. They know that Jinoo's on the flank. They almost get the fear onto him, but there's the Kata. It's landed onto Jinoo. He still doesn't have the flash away. But BioBio taking so much damage. Angel able to get the Proto Belt onto the side. No Sleepy Trouble Bubble will land. The Sunning are able to disengage, but they forced out the ultimate of Jinoo and his flash, so that is one less flank to worry about.
And BioBio still has his teleport, but he was teleporting in plain view, sitting on a ward, so he's going to have to walk back for that. These seconds are extremely precious. Both these teams hitting at 6 items, they can take objectives down in an instant.
Both of them are spawned at this point. Elder and the Baron on the map. It's a matter of if Sunning are able to stop it from going down. They'll get the stun onto SwordArT. The flash in from Rogue, but not able to find it.
SMLZ is playing so dangerously. He's playing really on the edge, walking forward, even knowing Korn is right around the corner. He's still trying to go in. BioBio has already joined the fight. And in these type of mid-lane poke situations, I actually give a bit of advantage to Y4. Look at how much damage he's doing right now. Sunning has been having problems trying to find the bubble, and they want to start now because the Slicing Maelstrom is still not up.
6 items on the 80 carry for Y4. Ezreal is doing a ton of damage. SMLZ, they engage when he's reloading. It's a lot of damage missing from the side of Sunning. Who's going to secure it? Pepper not going to be able to take it. SMLZ is the one who secures it. The Cataclysm goes in onto the backline of V5. BioBio has to get out of there, but SMLZ still free firing away. Road might be the first target. The flash in from SMLZ. He's going to take out the mid laner of Victory 5 and opens up with the curtain call. Here comes the sniper.
1, 2, 3.
There goes Road. The double kill coming in for SMLZ. They'll pick up the third on the back Victory 5 lost without 3 members. All 5 still up for Suning. This should be their playoff hopes staying alive.
We're still in game 2 of the series, but this is really shaping up. SMLZ putting it down, saying, you know what? It's my way or the highway. You guys are playing my style at this point. I'm going to take something that nobody has picked in Season 9 so far, and I'm going to make it work. Jinoo did not have Slicing Maelstrom in that fight.
It's a lot of damage coming out from SMLZ. There's a shield of flash in from Angel. That should be the game. Nexus Tower number 1, Nexus Tower number 2, and SMLZ, the carry to end all carries, will secure the game for Suning.
Suning with a 25% win rate after Chinese New Year finally make a stamp. They're doing it with a debut top laner with a roster they've never fielded before, with picks that we've never seen this split so far, and they made it work. You have to say, sometimes when you lack a system, you just go to a hyper carry and ask him, what do you want? Here's your blank check. Can you fill it out for me?
And it was a weird way he filled it out. He used some forms we'd never seen before. He filled it out actually in a different language. We weren't really sure what he was going with, but it turned out it was actually a pretty cohesive request. Keep me safe. Set me up for the plays. Enable me to go for the engages and make sure that I stay alive. And when they were able to do that, SMLZ was able to have a deathless performance, 8-0-4. Absolute masterclass.
Yeah, that was a really well-built composition. I feel like the comp is really what won them the game. They had so many layers of protection from SLZ, like you were talking about, the fake terrain from Cataclysm, and they also dance around the objectives quite well. That last play was one of the cleanest macro plays we've seen Suning display this split around, saying, you know what, Jinoo, no Slicing Maelstrom, let's start the objective immediately. They won the 50-50 Baron. It was very, very close, and then they cleaned up the team fight. So you can see on my picture right now, this was Tahm Kench, first pick. It used to say kill me, but now it's carry me. Yeah, from SMLZ.
They figured it out in the end, you know? It's like, all right, I'm kind of salty about this from SwordArT, but then he realized why.
He did not look happy with the way the draft was going through the bad pick. That was actually pretty funny.
The saddest we've seen him. He only had like a quarter inch of a smile. We've never seen him that upset.
Yeah, you could see like the middle of his mouth was still smiling, but the corners of his mouth were like. But I'm glad they made it work, and we're going to take it to game 3. Very interesting stuff. I feel like V5 still had a lot of control over the early and mid game. What they should just pick up is a bit more engage options. And I think, honestly, with their performance so far, I still think V5 should be able to close out the series, but Suning is making it interesting.
How easy is it going to be for V5 to just shut this down?
Well, I would say just pick up one more piece of engage option. And I felt like they played the bot lane tower a little too safe. They had so much map mobility in the top side already. Remember, the top side was winning by 3,000 gold. Mid lane already had that turret down early, and they should have converged on that bot lane and just snuff the entire map out. Don't let SMLZ farm. I feel like they stammered around that play for a while, and then they did not actually take the bot lane tower. They actually transitioned it directly into a Baron play, and that's when the game really stalled out. Because we saw double trinkets very early on from the jungle and the mid position, and they were just able to draw it out. You just throw the deadly flourish, check if they're actually doing the Baron or not, and that was the phase where I felt like V5 skipped a couple of steps.
V5 going to have to slow down their game, clean it up a little bit, and take down SMLZ in game number 3, or Suning get to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Hello everybody and welcome to week 8 of Razz's recaps. We're nearing that playoff mark. Week 10 is coming up very close. And for our top teams, they have their mind on those best of 5. So let's get to the first one. RNG in Beijing going up against Rogue Warriors. So for a lot of people are like, yeah, Rogue Warriors, what about them? They have that one shot to keep their playoff hopes alive. Who you're looking at is not Killua. It's going to be Huangai in his debut. So now you got your debut performance going up against RNG. And take a look at this. This is game 2. RNG actually got run down by Rogue Warriors in game 1. What you got to see was a really creative composition. Huangai picking up the Morgana with a lot of dive in. It was Zhao Yun on his Kled. and it was the Echo pick there for Huatian, and they were able to just dive right in towards Uzi. This time around, Uzi had another bad game, really poor early game, and you see them picking up that Baron buff. But guess who has their eyes on the pocket? Boom! That was an Ezreal ult, out-damaging the J4 Smite. They pick up Smite on that Smite steal. They pick up the game to follow up. Rogue Warriors with a shocker in Beijing. The crowd was silent up this point because not only did you expect yourself to be getting past RW, one of the worst teams in the league, you expected yourself to gearing up towards the playoff time. But Rogue Warriors, in that last-ditch effort, the young guns of Zhao Yun, Huatian, Zhang Wuji come up clutch to be able to pick up this series. Unsurprisingly, Zhang Wuji picks up the MVP of the game. This was huge in Beijing, and only expecting better from this young lineup going into the summer split. And for our next series, EDG versus FPX. FPX has had that tough run, had to go up against Invictus Gaming, RNG. Man, it's been hard for them. Even ended up losing to TOP on that one, but they went up against EDG and they were ready for this. Game 1, EDG matches them. Take a look at that. That's going to be a puppy there for Gimgoon. And he's going to be the most important player for this play because not only was EDG stacking up pressure, they got the dragons in their backcourt, they got that inhibitor on the top side of the map. Then you see wards, or at least like the ping is coming up in the top lane because you have the play coming in from Gimgoon. Ends up getting the teleport flank here. And just look at who he ends up targeting. That's right. He tries to go for iBoy. Just take a look at this. And he gets out of there with his blink. From that point forward, all members of EDG are ready for that one, already able to take down Corki here. Duombi was struggling here because although FPX were looking good early on in this game, had that false confidence about him, he ended up picking up Iceborne Gauntlet on the Corki. Guess what? Time's a ticking. EDG get control right back, and they start trying to pound on towards your major objective. So he goes straight towards the Trinity Force. Wasn't good enough. The team fight's been that strong for EDG.
But FPX battled back to turn this into a third game, and your eyes do not deceive you. That's Hope coming in for EDG. Struggled really hard in the early laning phase, and you can already see how the composition just nails him down. Really has no time to recover. Duombi's Galio, Tien's Nocturne sends him right into the back, and 35 minutes in, Scout doesn't have the items to be able to combat this one back, so FPX turned this one into a 2-1 victory, and they finished the week strong. Duombi at the tail end of that one having an average of the week of 45% damage percentage. So congrats to them, and we move on to the next one.
And for our third series, if you've watched the Razz recap segments, you better believe this is going to be our match of the week. BLG going up against RNG. Once again coming into the Beijing venue. Man, RNG has a lot to prove, losing to Rogue Warriors in the fashion that they did earlier on in the week. And they're going up against BLG, a tough competitor. You better believe that BLG were looking for them in the playoff time. So close in points, so much ramifications in the head-to-head here. So BLG has to be able to take this one. Here we go. BLG, slow playing it. Have such a great lead throughout the early portions of the game. And then they're able to get through Meteor in game 1, who was able to get a lot of leads off of the early Rek'Sai pick. RNG pick up game 2, and it sets us up for that one duel in a game 3. RNG, they didn't get the kills, but they had the goal lead. They were on the objective first. And they're moving towards, this was like a repeat, by the way, because they set this play up so often, looking for Karsa to try and find the engage onto the backline. This time around, he gets it. Right on towards the backline, you see Yasuo coming through. That's Xiaohu's Yasuo. And on this point, finally, Amazing J gets the excellent Wombo combo with his own ultimate. Throughout the entire game, he's been struggling being able to find it on towards Kuro because it has been that back and forth. So please, go back. Watch this game. It was a highlight moment in team fights between Uzi, between Kuro, and eventually you got to see Karsa coming in hot with that stack play. And so it finally resulted in this final play. You know Kuro's up and available, trying to see if he can hold on any last hope in this series. And by the way, this series meant a lot for RNG. Major playoff ramifications, as I had already mentioned. And if they want to be able to be confident with their current performance, losing to Rogue Warriors the previous week, they had to be able to take down BLG to their own fans. It was something they needed to do. Look at Karsa on this one. Huge moment for him to be able to pick it up. With how much hate, how much criticism, players like Amazing J, sometimes rightfully so, is able to get, you forget how vulnerable some of the players can be. This meant the world to Karsa to be able to pick up one series after losing to Rogue Warrior earlier on in this week based off that smite play. So he deserved it. If you remember, he got the MVP on this performance and had a phenomenal series here. So unsurprising for RNG to pick up that win. And that does it for me, but of course, as per usual, I gotta give my Razz Player of the Week. And you know who it goes to? Look, I ain't putting feelings into this one. It's all about the stats here. Karsa ends up picking this one up. Not only did he get the MVP of that game, also he came up as the best of the Rift jungler here. So I felt that Karsa was not only able to apply the early game pressure within the earlier weeks when he went against Rogue Warriors, but then when they had that battle versus BLG, he came in clutch with that exact play. So once again, another strong performance from him. Another RNG member picking up that one. Maybe that says a lot of great things for RNG going forward. That being said, we'll have to see. That will be the end for Week 8 Razz's recaps. I'll see you next week.